Boxer, of course, from Team Slayers, residing over in Korea. Stephano of Millennium, a French team, and they are going head-to-head here at the IPL 3 for day one. We're in the Circus Maximus. Thanks for joining us. And we are going to be starting things off on Antigua Shipyards here. Very excited about this matchup and what these players are capable of. In fact, I'm even more excited because Boxer did get a chance to really kind of dissect his play. And we saw that long game. So not only did he see how he's playing early on, but also what his late game strategies will be.
Most definitely. And the thing with Boxer, he's that much of a talented individual. He can watch a game and analyze it in a second and see the flaws and the weaknesses of a player like Stephano. You know, he's brought up so many fantastic players and has changed the games of players like Ryung, the players like MMA. And so he knows how to improve people, and so he can most definitely see the weaknesses in Stephano.
I think that is an amazing point. And, you know, we even saw a little bit earlier as he was identifying, you know, okay, this is what he's doing as a response to this, throwing down these spine crawlers, etc. So let's find out how much of that analysis will help Boxer out. But first, introducing our players, we got Millennium Stephano, our pink Zerg, spawning in the southeast position here on Antigua, and over here in the southwest position, we've got the blue Slayers Boxer as the blue Terran.
And it was pretty cool to hang out with Slayers Boxer before. Just sitting there on the couches watching games with Slayers Boxer, it's like a dream come true, to be honest. You know, I'm a big fan of the guy, and to even sit here watching him play is fantastic as well.
Absolutely. I can't disagree. The guy's a legend. I don't think there's anyone who is even remotely a fan of StarCraft that has not heard his name before or very aware of his accomplishments as well. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say, as far as esports literature is concerned, Boxer does have a book that is quite good. I think that you should definitely check it out if you're interested in StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, or many of the legends that now define these players that we get to watch compete on a weekly basis. And here, let's break it down here because some things have happened, as we do have the quick hatch coming up by Stephano, but we also have this barracks coming out here from Boxer that is, you know, kind of in an orthodox position, I'd say.
Yeah, it definitely is. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Boxer just picked it up after this one Marine and built a reactor from it anyway. It was just a bit of a fake out. And the thing that Stephano did see it, and he immediately built the spawn impulse. It was like 15, 14, didn't want to take any risk by going too high. And he throws down the extractor at a relative early time too. Usually it's up to like 18 supply, but he threw it down quite fast as well. Wants to get the speed upgrade out as soon as possible. And there we can see, and Boxer's actually scouting with a Marine rather than an SCV. Because he doesn't really need that one Marine. I mean, even if Zerglings start poking at the front, the majority of Zerg players, and Stephano as well, go hatch first. There aren't going to be Lings out that early anyway, so he can very easily defend with Hellions as they do come out.
Now, it is interesting also, Apollo, because we've seen Stephano go this route, but really go with a gasless build where he's droning up very heavily and getting that speed later on, sometimes around the 6 to 8 minute mark. But in this particular situation, he is going to get that early gas, and I suspect that we're going to have speed coming out quite quickly once that he's actually collected 100. He still has the 3 harvesters on there. Meanwhile, we do have, of course, the command center going down, and will we get a swap as the reactor's going up? We're going to have one Hellion spit out here and could possibly get a swap at the factory and the barracks, but we'll keep out there. The speed is going down. So I feel like he's definitely going to be, you know, getting that speed and going Zergling heavy a little bit earlier than we've seen him go in some of the other games. And I also believe that's very wise. I think he has to do that.
And he's actually thrown down a Roach Warren, and that's pretty smart because every single Korean Terran against Zerg always opens up Reactor Hellion. It's like almost the standard build because of the barracks timing of the recent patch. Nobody opens up barracks heavy anymore. And so what Stephano's done is he can very easily go ahead and build like 6 Roaches or so and put the pressure back onto Boxer because he's only going to have a couple of Hellions and nothing to really deal with these Roaches as they pop out.
What do you think about that particular strategy though? Because I know that a lot of Zergs don't necessarily like to go with this Roach kind of build. I mean, yes, it stops early on exactly everything that you just described, but then at the same time, Zergs will say, oh, well, they're not really cost-effective units to be using versus a Terran, of course, depending on the force, but you know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it is a bit of a gamble, to be honest, when he does use it, because he has no idea what is actually going on. I mean, he can guess and be like, all right, well, the probability of you doing this is actually really high, but obviously it's not confirmed and not certain. So it is a bit of a gamble, but in this circumstance, it's going to work out really well. I mean, with these Hellions coming out, he may lose a few of these Lings, but but to be honest, he's building nothing but units behind this. So now Boxer's going to have to react to it. He's going to have to build a bunker, maybe even 2. And to be honest, there's nothing really that Boxer has. He's now scrambling to build a Marauder. He's gone for an incredibly fast starport, which isn't going to help out whatsoever in this.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been, of course, used for drops later on, but actually, we're going to have the Roaches push forward here and keeping a close eye on what's going on. We have at least 1 bunker going up. There are quite a few Hellions here, 7 to be exact. Are they going to snipe that SCV? They do. More SCVs coming on too quickly, and these Zerglings need to get inside, but the Roaches trying to at least try to get the number of these Hellions down a little bit. He's got to be careful about this engagement. As you can see, the Hellions do very, very little against these Roaches, and the Lings are in. They have penetrated the base here of Boxer, and it looks like right now Stephano's in a really good position.
Yeah, behind it he's building nothing but drones as well. You know, really getting up his economy, really pushing it back, because if you compare units right now, 38, sorry, 4 about to pop as well, versus only 23 of Boxer, so he's in an incredible good position. And he also added on Spine Crawl because he knows that he's in such a great position, doesn't want to just die to an all-in counter-attack or anything like that. And he's really getting maximum amount of kills from these Roaches as well. Absolutely fantastic starting move for Stephano against a really economy-focused build from Boxer.
And I guess that was a great example of how that early Roach opening can actually work out. He stopped that natural from mining. He killed quite a few units. So there was definitely some effectiveness there in the route that he decided to take. Now over on Stephano's side, we see another gas going down, continuing to drone behind this, because also now Boxer, of course, knows that those threat of Roaches are out. It makes those Hellions a little bit less effective. We see the SCVs going to work here, repairing and patching these guys up, and Stephano will go for a quick third. Now, talk to me a little bit about this third here. You know, so every race talks about it differently in terms of its being able to defend, but how do you feel about this third for a Zerg player?
Well, as a Zerg player, you kind of have 2 choices. Do you go 2 base really fast layer, or do you take a 3rd base and get the layer later and be more unit heavy? So basically that's what Stephano is going for and needs to do. He's going to be going very Roach Ling heavy, and as the layer finishes, he's going to have an incredible boost of gas. Because you've taken a really fast 3rd, you're going to be able to get double extractor on it really early as well. And you can, well, depending on how you want to play, is you can throw that gas into Infestors or into, you know, Spire and go very Mutalisk heavy. Obviously the timing's obviously going to be thrown back, because right now 10 minutes, Mutalisk should already be out, but because of circumstances in the game, that's not quite out there yet. But these Hellions, actually, there are an incredible amount of lot of Hellions. And this is basically Boxer, even as we said, he broke down the play and was like, well, Hellions are going to be good against Stephano, and smartly Stephano's changing his style here, going a lot more Roach heavy than we've seen him previously.
Yeah, and we do see Boxer with a couple, you know, things that he wants to do. For example, he parked the medevac right over here with a bunch of Hellions ready to drop inside. Of course, this Overlord was put in a perfect position to see that, and Boxer knows better than to go ahead and just do it anyway. Quickly, we saw Stephano move into a good position, but what I would be more scared about is the potential bio drops that could come out from Boxer, as he could just poke and poke and poke all day long with these Hellions, force the Roaches out, not really truly engage, but force him to, you know, be aware and attentive, and then attacking him. But it looks like he's just going to meet up with the Hellion force and possibly at least pressure a little bit. He could take out this Overlord right here. He could try to pressure the 3rd if necessary, but there's a good amount of Roaches out with 4 more on the way. Now 16 Lings, and now the upgrades have started to come. Not only do we have Pathogen Glands on the way for the Infestors, but also Melee and Carapace for the Zerg units.
And Stephano's not a greedy Zerg player. He goes through these different stages of building drones, building units. He'll be like, he'll go to 25 drones, build a bunch of units. Then he'll go to 40 drones, build a bunch of units, then 50 and so on. And right now he's sitting very comfortably on 60 drones, but has a good amount of units out here. And he knows timings, he knows this is the kind of time that Boxer can come to me. And there's a lot of units here for Stephano, but I don't think he's going to be ready for this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, there is a stim coming out there. There's only 1 medevac, but it is at full health, so it's not going to be too much of a stim. A couple units of the Zerg player Stephano were taken out, but he sees also the Spine Crawler position. He knows that that 3rd base is up, and here's where possibly he could decide to go on in. Oh, is he going to try to go for the lift here again? He does take out that Overlord. Unfortunately, not hitting as many of those Zerglings as he would have liked from the bottom. And although it was kind of a cute attack, I'm not sure it was incredibly effective. The amount of Roaches that are here, though, Apollo, is very, very scary.
Oh, indeed, and the units have to run away, but smartly, Boxer is transitioning over into tanks now, and this is going to be really good against these Roaches. And I wouldn't be surprised if Boxer continued this while expanding, but there is a drop into the main base of Stephano as well here.
Yeah, we see it going down. He's also going to spot the Spire going down. There's a Fungal on the only Infestor that's currently out on the field, and he will quickly quit that up. That was not a Spire. That was a Spine Crawler. It was hiding itself. And what? I mean, someone check... I mean, Stephano has a lot of balls, I think, quite frankly, going for this gold base right here.
Yeah, I know. That's actually incredible. And as long as he gets the creep spread there, it shouldn't be too bad. But the thing is, look at the position of the siege tanks. Look at a Boxer abusing the map here.
Yeah, that's a nasty thing to see. He's got the vision. With the medevac, he's kind of trying to stay out of range, of course, for the Infestors. But again, we've got this positioning here for Stephano. Is he ready to just commit and move forward for an attack? None of these tanks are sieged right here, and if he catches Boxer off guard, this could be bad. Immediately we see the siege going up, but will he have gotten into position? Yes, he will, as he is going to just wipe through everything here. And Stephano's like, whatever, you can get my Roach Warren. I've got enough units to take care of this, and he's going to march right into Boxer's base.
Oh yeah, Boxer's so spread out right now, and he could be in a lot of danger. There's two siege tanks may help on the higher of the natural, but Stephano can very easily find holes on the natural to go instead of just sitting here. And he has got this hatchery up on that gold base. Meanwhile, gonna hive, continue to upgrade, and Boxer really on the back foot right now.
I mean, back foot. We look right now, we see supply block by Boxer, 103.97. SCVs forced off of the natural. The third is now going to be under assault, and there are those tanks in the back, but it doesn't matter. The amount of units that Stephano has right now will easily clean that up. He stops the mining at the third, and now that gold seems like the best idea that he's ever had.
Yeah, this is incredibly low drone count Zerg play as well. He's only at 65, and it's 60 minutes in the game. And that's incredibly low for a kind of a standard Zerg play, I suppose you could say. But that gold base, not only used for mining, it's basically a proxy production facility.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that you make a great point here. We could have the final push here as we see Stephano just really towering over Boxer in terms of supply. He could continue this up here. He's getting +2 melee. In fact, that's about to finish. And 10 more Infestors are on the way. So even if Boxer does manage to somehow hold this off, I cannot imagine that the next wave would be something they can't hold off. And you know what? If that doesn't make things worse enough, the Ultralisk Cavern now going down and 54 Lings on the way.
To be honest, Boxer not giving up. He's playing really well, actually. He's defending well with what he has. Even though he doesn't have that much, what he is, he's using it very efficiently. But Stephano's going to start going to these destructible debris. And the goal for Stephano, the one achievement he has in his mind is do not let Terran take third base. As simple as that. And he's going to continue to stop Boxer mining from this third base.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great philosophy to live by here, and he has executed it miraculously and just without flaw, I think, as here we're going to see, oh, those SCVs, poor SCVs, as they transfer over, the Lings are going to completely flood this third base. The Infestors are there to stop the Marines from coming in, although there are some siege tanks on the low ground. A great position once again for Stephano. Now the gold base is completely reinforced to the point where he can't really attack into it. He can't afford to take those losses right now. So the third has been denied. He is sticking with his philosophy of not letting Boxer take that, and right now it's just going to be a matter of time before Stephano tries to roll over his opponent.
Yeah, I think if Boxer knocks on the door, Stephano's going to open it and charge, because he most definitely will, especially when Boxer tries to crawl towards the gold base. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to start to siege on the higher ground and then crawl down slowly. And as soon as that starts, most definitely Stephano's going to jump on top, right?
And now looking on over as we're going to see Boxer kind of siege up here. I like where he is sitting. He's going to get in a much better position. He's created a choke where a lot of his tanks are living. He's going to try to take out these spine crawlers and could actually try to snipe this, but once these Infestors come out, and look at that, he spreads the infested Terrans around, which focuses down and the attention of those tanks, and now he'll move in, and although he actually lost most of his Lings, he's going to let a lot of these Infestors die, but it's the infested Terrans that will clean up quite a bit there. And although that attack, oh, well, here's the Ultralisk.
That's like, oh no. Boxer's like, well, this is not looking good now, because he has nothing to combat the Ultralisk. The upgrades aren't fantastic, but he just has too low unit count for Boxer right now. And the Ultralisk are slowly dying, but as you said, the economy of Stephano, 81 drones. He's on multiple hatcheries. He can keep up and just produce over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Marines go too, Fungals can completely take them out, but now the Lings have broken through this tank siege barrier and are taking out these siege tanks one at a time. That gives, of course, the Ultralists the opportunity to just move on in there and take out everything else. And even though a lot of these units for Stephano are trickling in, well, a lot of units for Boxer are just trickling out. So there's not a whole lot here to defend, and eventually it's just going to be too much.
Yeah, 56 Lings in production, 2 more Ultralists, +3 is about to finish for the Lings, +2 armor as well. So the upgrades are going to go out of control for Boxer, and he's not going to be able to do anything. As Stephano enters the base, knocks on the door, GG.
GG!
And that must be a big boost of confidence for Stephano, going 0-2 against Alive, and he's like, well, actually, I'm pretty good in Europe, but these Korean Terrans are good.
Yeah, and you know, we talked a little bit about that Roach